Hi, it's Colette. Welcome back to my channel. And this is a wee coffee and chat, and it's not one that I've thought too much about, so it might be a wee bit of blathering, but I hope you'll have a wee coffee or tea and enjoy being with me and having a wee think, because this has to be a conversation, and with that, rather than being live, which I don't quite feel up to at the moment, it'll be in the comments below. So been thinking for a wee while. I try to answer all the comments, and the channel's getting bigger and bigger, but I still do it, and it takes quite a bit each day, but as long as I can, I will, even if it's just a little heart to let you know I've seen it. And more people are saying that they're feeling tired and low and depressed, and then adding on that the world's getting them down, and that they feel unsafe, and they feel that there's too many big things going on. Now, 60% of my subscribers are in the USA, which is fantastic and lovely, and I do adore that fact. And I've got maybe about 25% in the UK, and then other places. But the USA people, a lot of them are saying that they worry about their country, that they feel that the negative news every day is getting them down, and that they have to pull away from it. And in the UK, I'm not just saying about the States, because in the UK we have all Brexit going on, particularly in Scotland. We've got very little power because the Westminster government is making their decisions for us and taking us out of the EU when Scotland voted to stay in. So as well as having a lot of a lot of feeling out of control, there is a high degree of frustration and anger. So although a lot of you are in the USA, believe me, I'm not just saying about the USA, because the UK is in similar positions. Although I do think that we kind of look to the USA, as the sort of the head of the free world as such, and we've seen some of the politics that are going on there. It can be frightening for us as part of the world as well, if you see what I mean. Now, a lot of people in the comments have been saying that they're, to get a wee bit of a break, they're not watching the news, they're not watching they're not listening to the radio, they're not buying newspapers, and I understand that. I really do. I understand it so much, because we're sensitives, we're empaths, and that news hits us 10 times harder than the normal person, and that's not anything to do with ego, that is just fact. So I understand where you're coming from, and I do think, Nelly, come on up, just say hello. Come on. I do think that we have to have a break from it. I'm not saying we don't. I do think it's important that we keep our sanity as such, because that's very, very important. We need to have times to be with our doggies, to be with our families, to meditate, all these things, okay? That's really, really important, and I love having those times. But what I have to say is that in times like this, I actually watch the news more. I follow what's going on in the States. Most mornings when I have my coffee, I'm on CNN and watching what's going on, what President Trump has said next or done next, all about the Kavanaugh situation. I'm well clued up on what's going on in the USA, because believe me, the opinions and the way that the USA goes forward does set a precedent for other Western countries. So it is important. Now, at the same time, I'm sort of on Twitter a lot, tweeting massively about Brexit, tweeting even about Scottish independence, tweeting about poverty, tweeting about mental health issues. I'm very, very active, and normally that's, that's my morning. And it's after it, sometimes I feel a wee bit dirty and whatever. But what is there is Nellie, get out that cupboard. Nellie, out. She's in my craft cupboard, this dog. Settle down. Anyway, right, so what I'm trying to say is that I suppose the question is, should spiritual people be political as well? And I'm not talking about religion, because a lot of religions have caused so much damage all over the world. And now my dad was religious, he was Roman Catholic, and he was one of the most spiritual people I know. But I'm sure you'll agree with me that there's a lot of really religious people who you wouldn't say are spiritual in any way at all. And that's why religion and the state should be separate in my viewpoint. And that's what's entrenched in US Constitution, etc. That, there should be a degree of secularness. And that's the same in the UK. So I'm not talking about religion, but I'm talking about spirituality. And if you are a very spiritual person and you are adoring nature and the animals, I don't see why you shouldn't maybe have a cause. Like with me, it's the bees, and how we don't want to lose the bees. So I'm quite of a, I do a lot of things to do with bees and bee health, albeit mostly from donating and at the keyboards, writing, sharing things. So if you're really involved in nature, you'll naturally find an affinity to some sort of cause. And that cause in itself can be seen as political, because if you're, say your rulers are backing, say, a company that destroys nature, or maybe to do with pesticides or whatever, then your spiritual belief and your affinity to nature in a way has to be political if you want to keep what you've got. So when I see people exhausted and fried and done in, and saying, and I need to pull away from this, I need to pull away from all this nonsense out there, all the political stuff, I understand. I do. I understand so much the feeling for that. But could I ask you, rather than pull away completely, could you just have a wee break? And then once you've had a wee break and you've calmed down your senses and you're feeling strong again, could you just come back into the fray? Because someone that I'm talking to just now will have a fantastic way of dealing with something, a cause about the bees. There's the Standing Rock situation, where a lot of us got behind Standing Rock and the pipeline, and you could find that there's things like that environmentally you feel completely connected to, and to fight for it and to fight for that, although it's coming from a basic spirituality and an environmentalism, still becomes political. I don't see how spirituality and caring for the environment can be anything but political. So again, I'm asking you to have a break, rest, centre yourself, and then come back and fight your fight for whatever it is you believe in, either spiritually or environmentally, not really religiously as such. And you know where I'm coming from this. You really do. So the conversation, I think the heading will be, can we be spiritual and political? Or can we be spiritual and not political? And I'd like you in the comments below to tell me what you think on that. And I would like you to, if you have a particular cause or something that's close to your heart, maybe to let us know what it is. Because you might find that other people in the comments have the same sort of cause in their hearts, and before you know it, you've got a pal or a friend. I really would like you all to talk amongst yourselves on this as well. I'll certainly be in the conversation. But what I think I'm trying to say is, unless you are a Carmelite nun who's away from the world, or a hermit up in a cave, or I was going to say Dalai Lama, but the Dalai Lama is political as well. So what I believe is that you may need rest, and you may need to have barriers up. You may need protection up. But as a spiritual empath, I believe that we can't really be that way without engaging in the political aspects of it, because sometimes good thoughts and prayers aren't enough. Now, we've done that, we worked together, we had a fantastic response to the prayers and things sent out to the Carolinas last week. So many people joined in. We heard from people that were in the storm, and they were glad we were praying and sending good thoughts or whatever, and that's great. And we can do that in this channel. We'll be doing that more and more and more as a community. But as well as doing that, I think it's important that if you have a political belief that comes from a deep, good spiritual place or environmental place, I don't see that you cannot be political, at least every now and then. And I know that, as I say, I don't share a lot of my political beliefs on this channel, and I probably won't, to be honest, because I think those of you that are more interested in my politics are in my private Facebook page, not my Colette Clairvoyant one, and also on Twitter, where I'm very political. So if you don't want political Colette, don't bother with Twitter. I'd just love to hear what you think. I'd love to hear from those of you who are who live spiritual lives but are involved in maybe a political project or a demonstration or a way of standing up and being counted. I'd love to hear all that, and I'd love to know your thoughts on spirituality and politics. And don't worry if your thought is, spiritually, I need to be so centred in myself that I can't be near any political news stations, this, that and the next thing. That is fine. I'm not putting that down, because there's some people that that isn't for, and they would crack up genuinely by the weight of so many negative things happening. There's so many laws being passed that go against their beliefs or their human decency. Yes, they would crack up. They would want to be elsewhere. And if that's you, then God love you, darling. Just do what you can to keep going and be who you are in this world. But for others, I'd like to know how you feel or how you're involved, whether it's environmentally or politically, or if you just are feeling a bit of despair at the way the world's going at the moment. And you see, I have hope. That's the thing. I have hope. As I say, I keep remembering the elder that said to me, evil has to show itself, Colette. Actually, I'll give you a laugh. He called me Stormy. And with all the Stormy Daniels stuff going on in the States, I kill myself laughing because this elder, my first spirit name was Quiet's the Storm, and he just used to call me Stormy, so I find it quite funny as well. But with all the things that are going on, you know, evil is showing itself. People doing bad things, people going behind people's back, people selling them down the river, quite literally. It's to the fore. And when things are at the fore and we can see them, as the elder said, when evil is shown up to be what it is, we can see it and we can fight it. The problem with evil is when it is hidden. And it's like a dark force. The light's been shone on it just now, and that's why I think it is important that we do stand up and say, no, that's not right. I'm not agreeing with that, or I'm getting a petition up against this, that, or the next thing. And I hope this won't put some of you off the channel, because believe me, I'll not be that political on this channel. I think you can tell sometimes, you know, maybe where my politics would be by the way the weekly tarot cards are framed. But at the same time, it's a spiritual channel. It's for all people. It's for whatever your belief system is. You don't need to be one religion or no religion or whatever to be here. You just have to be here with an open heart and the wish to lead a spiritual life and walk your talk. Learn about the clairs, the clairaudience, the clairvoyancies, clairsentience. Watch the mediumship. Listen to the weekly tarot card. Learn about divination. Learn about other things and do the psychic development. You know, it's all there for you. And I don't say, well, you can't be on this channel if you're this or this. All you have to be is open and be a good person that's striving to be their best. And in doing that, that's fine. So I hope to get a good conversation going on this, and please comment down below how you feel. Don't worry, I'll pick up on trolls or whatever, and they'll get blocked very quickly. So this does tend to be quite a safe place, because I have a whole list of blocking words that won't even let stuff through. Occasionally stuff will get through, but it's normally not the "you will go burn in hell, you Jezebel, you" type of thing. That tends to be mostly blocked now. So let me know what you think. I'll probably do another coffee and chat. Everything's not too bad here. Got some bloods done, get the results. I've got to go to the doctor on Tuesday, and it'll just be showing that my inflammatory factors are up or whatever, and what needs done again. But I'm feeling a wee bit better, and that's good. And I'm going to enjoy the weekend with family, and that'll be lovely. So I haven't really talked about the channel or this, that, and next thing, or how, but I'm okay, we'll get there. I just wanted to see what you think about the can you be spiritual and non-political. If you can, let me know. If you feel that we can't, let me know too. And if you like what I do in the channel, you can support me by buying me a wee coffee. The link's down below, and I think it's £3 or $3 for a coffee. But if you don't want to buy me a coffee, that's fine. That's no problem at all. It's just people like to know where they can donate if they feel that they're getting value from something, if they can. So many blessings. I look forward to the comments coming on this. So I'll see you soon, and enjoy the week ahead, and have a wee think about what I've said. Many blessings now. Bye.